You want to say hi to everybody? This is Morty. Morty McFly. Who's a pretty bird? You gonna talk to us? Morty welcomes you back, fishmongers. We're gonna try to bring him upstairs because he's especially noisy today. And I have some filming to do. Yes. Is that okay with you, buddy? Is that okay with you? Isn't he pretty? Look at him. Look at him. This is Morty. Let's get up close and personal. You want to say hi? Say hi, buddy. Who did? He's showing off. Look at his little head. Okay, let's get started. All right, welcome back, fishmongers. Well, that was Morty. He was welcoming you too. All right, so I am today going to continue the series that I started with the Goldfish tank rebuild. So this is part 2. And what I've done here, I've laid out pretty much everything that I think I'll be using. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what I'm going to do to prepare and go over just a couple little items like tools. Tools, right? Nothing extravagant. Stuff you can get around the house. Let me just show you. Fingernail scrubber. Little scrub brush. Tweezers. These tweezers I like a lot. If you see, maybe you can see that a little better. See this little L shape right here, or this angle? For me, that's helpful because I can take the plant stems, and I can put it in here, and then when I push it down into the sand, I pull it out sideways, so I don't pull the plant back out. So this little shape is important to me. If it's straight, it's a little more challenging to do. You have to kind of go down underneath and then pull it out like that, but you can do it. Or you can just bend it. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfectly aligned. So little tweezers like this, very helpful. Some people have really big ones, and I found that they're just too clumsy. Okay, that's another tool. Scissors, easy. Maybe a little razor blade. It's good for cutting like Anubias, for example. If you take Anubias and you scar the rhizome, it'll actually heal and grow a new branch. That's a little special tip. Pro tip, okay? Super glue. In this case, it's cyanacrylic glue, and in this one, this just happens to be Gorilla Glue. Put that a little closer. Doesn't matter which kind you get, but what's important about this one is that it's the gel version. So if you see right there, the gel version. That way it's kind of gooey, stays in place, and you can stick plants to it to stick to wood. You can glue your wood to rocks with this. If you have the thin version of this, you can actually use little pieces of paper towel and shove into the cracks and then squirt the thin stuff in there, and then it'll solidify the paper towel like a plastic. So there's 2 ways to do that. And then if you want and you're impatient, you can get the activator. So this is activator. You don't need this. You can just glue things on there with this and just wait for it to cure. I mean, it's like 5 minutes or something. If you're in a real hurry, this cures it right away. Also, a cup of water. I'm just kidding. I use this when I fill up the tanks. Very first thing I do is I add this in there, and then it's pretty much safe to add fish right away. I wouldn't add a lot of fish. You don't want to, you don't want your full stock, but add like a couple of cheap fish in there and see how they do. This is called a fish in cycle. I've done that for every single tank with very few casualties. I don't think I've ever had a casualty in a fishing cycle, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. A couple other things I have here too. This is called Microbe Lift Night Out 2 is what this is. It's a starter bacteria. Any other kinds of bacteria are fine. This is going to actually kickstart your bacteria a little bit too, but I add just a little bit of this also just to give it more. If you don't use RO water, like RODI water, that's reverse osmosis water, and you just use your regular tap water, you may want to get a little bit of this. This stuff is like super concentrated, and you only need like for a 10-gallon tank, I need like a few drops. For like a 55-gallon tank, I mean, I only need like well, you gotta read it. It'll tell you how much to put in there, but it's very concentrated. I don't know why they don't make this less concentrated, because I mean, you could like ruin a tank if you put too much of this in there. Sometimes if your water is cloudy, now this is an algae cloudy, but cloudy from like say just all the wood and the rocks and the dirt and everything that you put into the water, and it made it just really cloudy. You can use this, and what it'll do is like it'll kind of clump all the cloudiness together into pieces that your filtration can then pull out of the water if you have a filter. Not entirely necessary. Another thing too is like it's not for, like, if you're cycling a tank and suddenly you notice that it becomes very cloudy, like maybe a week or two later, that might be what's called a beneficial bacteria bloom. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually good. That means your tank is almost done cycling. I've never had to like fully wait on a cycling of a tank when I do fully planted systems. In a tank that only has plastic decor and plastic decorations and maybe just some rocks and gravel, yeah, you probably won't get that bacteria bloom right away, and you might need to use a little bit of this. But a bacteria bloom will have like a hazy look to the water. You'll kind of know that it's a bacteria bloom, and it'll go away. It's completely fine, and it's safe for the fish too. You don't have to worry about hurting the fish. Another way to condition your water would be this brand. So this is just a couple brands. This is API, and then this is from Seachem. Seachem makes a lot of products. Lots of people will only use Seachem products. Other people will only use API products. I've tried them all, and I haven't noticed a benefit of one over the other, and they all do the same thing as far as I'm concerned. This tank that I got right here, they actually give you some water conditioner. Look at a little sample of food too, with the tank when you buy the tank. So, I mean, even that stuff will work. Okay, so easy. I had the tank back here, ready to go. And that's all the tools, right? So that's all the tools. Look at this. Sometimes I will even use these cheap chopsticks that you get when you buy Chinese food. Okay? Comes a little packet. I have these all over the place. Love them. They're perfect for doing all kinds of things in your tanks. Use these. They're cool. Other than that, maybe I have a spray bottle back there. I don't know if you see that. It's on the table. I'll use that to squirt out the tank or to keep my plants wet while they're in there, because I won't fill the tank and then plant. I'll try to do all my planting with it all dry, and then I'll add water. Some of the big plants I'll wait until the tank is full, because they go all over the place, so they're kind of hard to keep out of your way while you're working. I have buckets here. I have this one. I have this little container. I have down here. The camera's following my face, so I have a couple buckets of plants here. I'm going to go through all those. I'm going to sort them out, put them up here. These stones were actually already used in my tank before, so they're okay. They're safe. I know they're safe. But I'm going to take and scrub them in the sink over there with my little scrub brush here, just to get off all the stuff, any stuff that might be on it, just so they're nice and clean and good to go. They're really pretty rocks. I mean, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like very sparkly. It's got like lots of mica. These are granite pieces that I had in there. They look pretty cool underwater when the light's shining on them. They sparkle. And then, oh, I don't know. I showed you this in another video, but this, look at this. This is spider wood that I got at the pet store. Isn't that amazing? Look at this thing. It's crazy. I can cut 2 or 3 pieces out of this one alone, and I haven't decided where to cut it yet. So I'll be doing that as well. So so in the next, so I'm gonna cut the video, and then I'm gonna go do all that stuff, and then I'll lay it all out, and then I'll show you what I got and what I've chosen to do, and where I've chosen to cut this. I'm gonna try to make it so I can get as much real estate out of this as possible, and yeah, I think that's it. Oh, another little thing, other tools you don't even think of, right? A towel, you're gonna make a mess. Paper towels, maybe, have those handy. When I pick out my plants, the ones that I choose, these are all in like dirty water right now, and those down there. I have 2 bowls of clean water right here. It's just tap water, it doesn't have to be special water. I'll put the plants that I want to use in there. And then I'll start to build out my scape, decide where I'm going to glue things. Like a Nubius, I'll use this glue right here, glue my Nubius to the wood and that kind of thing. So a lot of that I will do outside the tank. But when I get to that point, I'll bring you back in on this. All right, I'm going to get to work. I'll be back. Let me show you what I did. I was able to take that piece of wood and cut it into 3 pieces. Not very easy, I'll tell you. It shakes while I'm cutting it, so I had to clamp it down. But these are the 3 pieces that I got. Like that, right? So maybe something like that with these 2 pieces. Glue it together, glue a stone in between them. This is the other piece. This one's a little uglier, right? So it's got a lot of stuff sticking out of it. And I'm not sure I really like all these like little pieces. I might use them. I have a couple more here. I might use them for like interest features. Oh, and I'm not even showing you. I might use them like maybe in front, like glue it to some stones, or stick it under to make it look like there are roots coming out from under a tree, sort of thing. And just take all these little spindly ones off, and then use them all just like that. But there's not a whole lot more I could do with this piece unless it's something like that. I don't know. I mean, if you have other pieces of wood, you can glue them to this piece of wood too to make it look like it's all one piece. And then you just plant, you just shove some Bucephalantra in there or some Anubias in there, and it'll just cover up your glue marks. See, I'm not worried about these flat edges right here, because this might be where I, stick it to the rock like that. See? Oh, look. Now it looks pretty cool, right? So, don't let that throw you off. This is doable. The backside on this, honestly, look at this. That's kind of cool, right? It's got this hole. It almost looks like that. What's that? What's that other? Whatever that other driftwood that you can buy that has the 2 tones like that. It's dark and it's light on the outside. Mopai. I forget. It starts with the letter M. I know that. I'll put it right here. I'll put it right here. Bing. But yeah, so I cut that up. I scrub these rocks. Now comes kind of the fun part for me. I like to sit here. I mean, honestly, what I just did there was kind of cool. But I gotta keep in mind, I only have a 10-gallon tank I'm playing with room. So like when you stick this in here, yeah, there's not a whole lot of room. There's not a whole lot I can do with this. So I'm probably just gonna work with these 2 small pieces right here and come up with something that'll work. Another little trick that I'll do is on my towel right here, I'll tape off with like masking tape the size of my tank, so that when I kind of like to pre-lay things out, I get an idea of the space that it's going to take in my tank before I go disturb the, you know, what I've done in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play around. I'm going to come up with some layouts with these rocks, and I'm going to take this off and see what I come up with. I'll show you what I come up with, and then we'll put it in the tank. I also need to keep in mind that I have like a little hill of sand right there. So I need to pretend like in my head that I'm going to be laying this on an embankment, on like a little hill. All right, so that's why we do it outside the tank, and then we move it back. We move it in there, and I'll do all my gluing out here too, only because it's easier. A lot of people they'll set it up in there, and then they'll squeeze the glue in there afterwards. You can do it that way too. So if you put it all in the tank, you can come around with this bottle and literally just squeeze into the little cracks where you got room, where there's contact points, and that'll work just fine too. And then you just let it cure for, you know, maybe, yeah, just let it sit for an hour, I guess, before you put any water in. Okay, let's get started with that. There's an idea. It was kind of cool. Not sure about this piece. This little branch right here looks like it kind of broke. I wonder if I could just. Then I got this one that was cut here. Hey, what about like that? Ooh, that looks good. Yeah. And then what I'll do is I'll just cut this piece off the back. Leave that. I think I'll take this one off because it just looks like a. That'll work. Look at this, guys. What do you think? I think I like it. I think I like it. I'll turn it. I'll turn it like this. You know, so it'll be straight in there. Like I think I'll put it in there. I'll favor the left side of the tank over there. I probably won't use this. I'm just using that to prop that up. I might use this somewhere else or just leave it out. I really like this rock, but it doesn't match. It doesn't match the other pieces of granite that I have here. Look at this. Look at this. Sometimes you just throw it together, see what happens, and it can come out looking good. But yeah, take a little time, play around with your wood. Did I just say that? Beep. Okay. Play around with it, right? You know, get the orientation you like. Find something that you can live with. Walk around it, see how it looks, and then make it permanent. I guarantee, like anything like this, like I could just go with this right here and put it in there. It's gonna look fabulous. So don't overthink it, okay? It really that took me 5 minutes. I think I'm happy with this. Honestly, I do. So I'm gonna get this glued together. I might break that piece off right there. Yeah, I'm gonna break that piece off. I'm gonna glue this all together. Maybe I'll try to set the camera up to show you how I do all that. Let's do that. All right, I played around with it a little more. I wanted to clarify something too. When I said that I like to do all the gluing and everything outside of the tank, it didn't mean that I'm going to do it all right now. First thing I want to do is go ahead and put it in my tank, especially when you have hills and stuff that you're working with in your tank. It could change how this whole thing works. So, you know, technically you want to do it in your tank, but then what I'll do is I'll grab the piece as I oriented it, pull it out, and then look at exactly where the glue is, and then do my gluing out here, and then put it back in my tank carefully. So yes, I like to glue outside, or you can just glue it in there and then wait for it to cure. Either way works. Just want to say that again, just in case you're confused. I almost decided like on a new pattern here. Like I want to like span these two rocks right here. But then I was like, well, I better go put this in the tank and make sure it fits. Because measuring it's one thing, but then when you put it on the hill, it changes its orientation, and you might end up with something completely different. So let's go put it in the tank. Hey, I want to show you something else too. So I picked this up. I forget how much it was, but it's like a little squirt. It's a squirt bottle. If you want to clean down the sides while you're cleaning, it's got like a little pump on it. Very handy. Instead of using like a squirt bottle, but you can use a squirt bottle too. Like shoot, you can probably get one of those ones at like Ace Hardware. It's like $4. Squirt it down. I'm lazy. Right. Thinking this piece right here, kind of sitting on this hill. Can you guys make that out? All right. This one will be down a little bit right about there. And this piece, see, completely different in the tank. Wow. Look at it, it sticks all out right here. I didn't want this to be an open tank. Alright, didn't I have the flow kind of going with the little branches going this way? What I did. Let's move this out of the way. See, it's completely different being in the tank. I might have to take this piece off right here. It has a natural break right here too. Like it got split right there. I don't know if you see that. See it right there? So I mean it's strong. It must have took years to do that when it was growing. But yeah, okay. You don't need to watch all this, but I'm gonna play around with this a little bit and then I'll show you what I end up with. Sound good? Okay. So this is what I came up with, which was completely different than what I had on the counter back there. So maybe the best advice here is that you build it out in your tank. You can lay it out outside your tank, but just keep in mind that you might need to change it all up. Sometimes it works out for me. In this case, it didn't. That hill I made is just too big. So I'm gonna have a little issue with these contact points. And the other problem is you can't tell, but see how the wood's sticking up out of the tank right here? I mean, a lot of people like to have their stuff come out of the top of their tank, and that's fine. I think it's great too, but I know that I have to constantly keep filling these tanks with water, and the fewer things that I have to do as chores, the better. So I want the ability to be able to put a lid on this to keep the evaporation down. You don't need to do that. You can let it come all out and it would be beautiful. I'm absolutely certain of it. It'd be cool. Maybe someday that's exactly what I would like to be doing when I have a fully dedicated fish room, studio, whatever. And then I can design some equipment that make filling the water easier. Let's show you a little top from the top down. It's kind of cool, right? I think it's going to work. And I've got enough room that I can get a cleaner right past here. I can get a cleaner right past there. I don't clean the backs of my tanks. Maybe I'll move the whole thing back just a little bit. I was also thinking about burying the piece of wood into the hill, and I could glue like an ugly rock to the bottom of it and then dig a hole, put it all the way down in there. You won't see that rock, you won't see the ugly rock, and then have these two like as accents in front of it. I don't like how straight and geometric this rock is. It just doesn't look natural. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build it into the hill and make it look like it's just jutting out of the hill right here. So if you look at it like this, it'll literally look like part of the ground coming forward. And yeah, wouldn't that look cool? That would look cool. And then this piece I could just lay anywhere. It's just a little piece of that. I'm also going to go outside and see if I have any more of these shiny rocks like this, because I wouldn't mind maybe having some more alternatives. So I will do that now. All right, back from the yard. I did find a nice ugly rock. The reason why you have to glue this to rocks when it's brand new like this, it'll float. I don't know if I said that. To me it seemed obvious, but I didn't want to assume that everybody would know that. So why is he gluing it to the rock? Well, yes, it'll try to float the first time it's ever been in water. After a few months, it'll be completely saturated with water, and then if you use it right away again in like another tank, you should be fine. It'll not float anymore. So I found a nice ugly rock right here. I'm going to glue this here, and then I'm going to bury it. I'm going to dig out a hole right here and bury it into my little hill. And then I might bring this rock up to it and glue maybe yet another little point right next to it somewhere, or maybe somewhere around here, just to make double sure that this thing won't float up out of the water when I put water in the tank. And then I think I like the way this one is already, so I'll look at that some more, but this is the first priority. So I'm going to take care of this. Oh, and I also have like a little extra stick, so if I wanted to add some interest in the front, maybe coming out of the dirt, I can put it right around in the front, make it look like it's coming like out of the bottom of this. See, look at it. I could just glue this right there. Nobody wouldn't even notice. See? So yeah, don't throw all your little branches away. Look at that, man. Another secret about this stuff. Tap it before you open it to get all that gel glue down into the bottom. And when you're done, tap it in the reverse to get it out of there, or it'll solidify inside your cap. This lets you reuse it over and over again a lot easier. There's also like a little pin inside the cap that kind of goes through the hole, but in my experience, it doesn't go deep enough. So sometimes you have to get like a paper clip and just shove it down in there. Okay, so like if it gets all hard or whatever, just use a paper clip and just work your way through it. But in this case, I'm ready to go. I'm going to glue this on here for you. I just lost my orientation. I found a good contacts on this rock right through all of that area. I'm just be liberal with this stuff, You can also buy the kind that's made for aquariums. Also, I have some, but it's the same stuff. It's the same glue. There's really nothing special about the aquarium stuff, I imagine. And I'm also going to get my activator, so I don't have to hold this for 5 minutes. Otherwise, you got to hold it for a while. And this stuff is completely safe to use. Look at that. See? Super fast. Now, it probably didn't get cured all the way to the center, so I don't want to get crazy and like mess with this. So I'm just going to let it rest here for a second, and then I'm going to move on to the next piece. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll get this put in first and then work with the other piece, just in case I change my mind about things. But I'm going to let this go a little bit. I found this little stem right here. I might take this off. I don't see any use for that. So I'm gonna take that off carefully. There we go. All right, we got it. And this, look at this, it's on there. Oh, here, out of the video. See that? This is the gap that I was worried about right here. So this is where I just spread it around and shoved it in there with my chopstick over there. But look at this thing, it's already on there. I'm good to go. Now, this activator, it smells funny. So sometimes I'll just take it over to the sink and rinse it off just a little bit. But I've used it before. Activate. I even use it in my saltwater tank when I glued corals to the live rock. So I mean, it's safe to use. I don't always use the activator, but I have, and it's okay. It's fine. I don't know what's in this stuff to make it, do whatever it does. Accelerates the cure of cyanocrylic adhesive. All right. Doesn't say what's in it. But yeah, I'm going to bury this in here, and then I'll start doing some more stuff here. Okay, I got the piece buried, and my battery ran out, and it probably ran out again, but I wanted to film this real quick, so let me show you what I got. Looks pretty darn cool. How do you like that? And I put that rock in there in the hill, just like I was saying. Oh. All right, sorry, the camera's trying to do this follow thing again. But yeah, and I have these like little pieces I broke off. Watch this. It's not a waste. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, I just threw it in there. Look, you just throw it in there. It's ready to go. There's a little crack in the back of this piece of wood right here. I'm able to just glue that in for some added interest. See that? Like, how does that look? Look at that. I'll wedge it in there. Look. Yeah? Cool, right? So yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I got another piece right here. I could almost lay this right here to make it look like more roots coming out of here. See that? That could look cool. Look at that. Man, I think I'm going with that. Now I just got to fit this piece in there. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to let this camera charge, or it'll just die on us again. But that's it so far. I'll probably set it up right over here in the corner. Right over here. And then that'll probably be more than enough that this tank would need. All right, guys. Hey, so it's that easy. Just go, just start doing, just glue, just put it together. Even if you glue it to the stone and it's like not where you wanted it, just break it off, glue it back on. That glue it's called super glue, but it's not that super. You can break the stuff very easily. Okay, I'm gonna get to work on that. I gotta charge this camera. I guess I didn't realize I've had this going for like 4 hours now, off and on. But I leave it on, so that's my other problem too. Is I leave it on so I can just go over here and hit record. So I'll work on that, and then I will show you probably the final result. All right, just want to show you a little progress. One, I had to get this handy tool. It's a paper clip. I had to put it in there. I made a mistake of putting my activator on and then going and trying to add more glue, which activated it inside the thing. So don't do that, okay? Another tip, if you get this stuff on your fingers, it's okay. Just don't stick your fingers together. They actually use this in hospitals for surgery, for I guess like for wounds and stuff. They can actually close it up with this glue. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I mean, if it does stick together, don't panic. Run it on some hot water. Put a little olive oil in there and just start wiggle it apart. It'll come up. It'll come undone. I've done it, so don't worry about it. All right, so I got this in here. Hey, look, what do you think of this rock? I'm gonna put this rock just like that. It's going to sit on top of this rock, and it's also sitting on top of the wood right here. So now I got all that extra hold down power. This piece of wood is not floating. I don't think it was going to float anyway. It's not that big of a piece. But keep in mind, the bigger the piece of wood, the more buoyancy it has, and the more it'll try to float. Putting rocks on top of things is also a good idea. I mean, I've done that in the other room, and it kind of looks natural too, because it looks like in a riverbed or something where a log or whatever might have got stuck in the rocks, and then over time the sand got washed over the top of it, or the rocks got washed over the top of it. So it looks like it's, just coming out of a sand drift or a sandbank right here. So, and then I glued this piece in right here. So, and I put it on top of this rock, and I still have this piece. I didn't want to glue it to this one because this one's not as busy. So I have glued this on here, and this is where I said I like to do it outside, but I set it up in here, and I know exactly where I was going to put it, like that. See? But what's nice about this is I can, if I later want to put this over here or over there, or heck, I mean even over here, I can move it around with it still attached to this. So it kind of becomes an aquarium decoration, that you can move around, like decorations you would buy, the plastic ones. So that gives me a lot of ability here, and also like these little cutoff pieces where you have flat edges and stuff, like on the back of this piece. Don't worry, that you're going to cover that with plants anyway. You won't even see it. Plants will be growing all over here. It'll be all covered. You can hide all kinds of little things like that anyway. But here, look, I got a good little spot right here for some Anubias. I can use this to wedge down a piece up underneath here. I might take this rock and like glue a little bit of, I'll use the same glue. I'm actually running low, so I gotta be careful. I'll use the same glue to glue like some Christmas moss or Java moss to this rock, just to give it like, I don't know, just give it some character in the back. Heck, I might just grow it to the back now that I'm thinking about it, so it'll just kind of take over this whole area. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I don't think my goldfish are gonna breed. I don't even know if I have males or females, but if they did, goldfish do like to eat their fry, I think. I heard about that. It's like survival of the fittest with goldfish, it seems. So the more hiding places you give them, say you went and bought a bunch of like feeder goldfish, which are like 30 cents a piece or whatever. Guys, you could get a bunch of those, put them in here and have a great looking tank and not spend a lot of money on fish, on livestock. And I mean, not that you would want them to die or anything, but if you did have some deaths or there's something wrong with your water, at least you learned with a 30-cent fish instead of a $30 fish or $30 worth of fish, so keep that in mind too. Like, I mean, goldfish are like, oh yeah, goldfish, they're just so blah, whatever. But man, I've seen some really pretty ones, like those, like I showed you my white and my orange one. I think like a whole tank of those, if you just hand pick those out of the feeders and make a whole tank full of those, I think you would be rather happy with that. You don't have to go with exotic fish to start out. If you're brand new to this, that's an excellent way to start. But yeah, I'm gonna get this piece in here. I'm gonna put this stupid camera back on the charger. I'm not going to use this piece. It's not the same color. It's got more of the red tones of the granite, whereas this granite is actually, well, it's probably sourced from our own Stone Mountain here in Georgia. So this is Georgia granite. And yeah, I think I'm happy. I'll maybe scoot this around some more, but don't overthink it. I can do that later. I'm ready to start planting, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. So while that thing's charging again, I'm gonna open a beer. I want a beer. I'm gonna have a little beer, turn on some music. I won't be able to put that on because copyright. Sort out my plants, and then come back and show you what I got, what I'm planning on doing. Okay, all right. Be right back with you. Okay, I'm back. So I got some of my plants sorted out here. Just gonna show you what I have real quick. Let's start with this. This is from the sticks and stuff that I had in there. And I had this little piece of, I think this is Java fern growing on it. Yeah, here, is that focusing? There we go, see? And what I think I'll do is maybe I'll break this off. Oh no, it's like growing a little piece right all the way up here. All right, maybe I'll break it off right there, but I'll hide it behind the big rock that's there. So I'll continue to use this, but I'll break these off and maybe try to tease this on to grow onto the rock. So it'll do that. So I think I'm going to use that. I have a bunch of Anubias plants here. I already have one that's attached to this little rock right here, and he's got like a little baby right there. And so it started as this one leaf, and it's got this little baby, and yeah, I'm hoping to like make that grow pretty good. I also have a couple of pieces. I got these, all of these actually. They're all the same. I could almost just bunch them all together, couldn't I? Like that. But they were all in one container. I split them apart. This one, the leaf isn't doing so good right here, but I left it on there just to provide energy into the plant. But you can see right here, it's already growing like some new little baby pieces. I mean, new baby leaves and branches right there. And if I put like a little cut right on this rhizome with my razor blade, in fact, I'll show you right now. Watch this. All right, put a little cut, and I kind of make a little wedge out of it, but it's tiny, right? All you're doing is scarring it. And it will react to fix its scar, scab over, and grow a branch right there. So that's how you get your Anubiases to branch off. So there, I've already done it. I should probably, clean this with alcohol or whatever, make sure it's like super clean, but I haven't had to do that before. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put these in there. This one also has like a little bad leaf right here. This is how easy you can do, look at, just break it off. It's not good, break it off. Get rid of it. All these others are nice and healthy. And this one's pretty healthy already. They're all the same, species of Anubias. I'll find the label and I'll just put I'll put the name right here. All right, let me throw these in the water, make sure they don't dry out. That's why I have these things of water over there. Bowls of water, which you didn't see. Here. There we go. Okay. Look at this Anubias. I think this is Anubias Nana, and it is happy. And this doesn't even belong. You're out of there. These roots are going crazy. Look at this. But here's the thing, like, what do I do with all these roots? I can, if they're in my way, I can just throw them away. You just cut them off. It's a very forgiving plant. And what's nice about these plants is that they're slow growing. If you don't want to have to do a lot of maintenance on your tank, like trimming plants and trimming all your stem plants, especially pearlweed. I'll warn you about pearlweed. It's a great ground cover, but you have to mow that grass every week, just like you mow your lawn outside. It's a pain. And then it makes a mess in your tank, and you got to scoop it all out. So if you're thinking about pearlweed, go for it. Give it a try, experience it, and then you'll know down the road not to do that. All right, but yeah, I'm definitely I'm gonna put this. I already know where I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put it right over there with that small piece, because I see a great place for it. You can't put these roots in the ground. This is what's called an epiphyte, and the roots grow out in the water column. Now, sometimes, the rhizome has to stay out in the water column. I think that's more specifically, this rhizome has to stay in the water column. The roots will sometimes grow in the water column, but then shoot down and grow into your substrate. And that's okay. It's okay to do that. It's okay for them to do that. But you don't plant this underground like this, okay? Don't put it down in the ground. Make sure this part right here is in the water, in the air. I might actually make a little scab on this because I want to encourage a branch right here. I also have some of these. These were from another tank. These are Anubias Petite, I believe. I have two of them. They actually come from the Pirate, that one, when I started taking them off of there. I'm like, you know what? I might as well use them in here. They're growing super well. I mean, very well. Very slow growing. This is, I mean, I got them maybe with 4 or 5 leaves, and that's taken at least 2 years to grow that much. Maybe I'm not adding enough nutrients or something, I don't know, but I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, it looks like a very healthy plant. I also have this one. This is another Anubias. It's already attached to this kind of ugly rock, if you see that. It's like a porous volcanic rock. And the guy that I bought, well, look at that, it's rotting at the ends here, but that's okay. The guy that I bought a tank from or something like that had this in there already attached like this. Actually, it's an empty tank that I have over there, yeah, so I bought it from the guy. I'm sorry, I didn't buy it. It was free. That's right, it was free on Marketplace. I was able to go pick it up. Anyway, he had it attached to this. I didn't see a reason to take it off of this, so I just left it on here. So what I'm going to do with this piece is I'm going to hide it behind all that stuff there too, and try to train this to grow onto, you know, like onto the wood. You know, train it, and then it'll eventually, you know, grab its roots a hold of the wood, and yeah, and then I can just cut it, like I can just cut it like right here. Guys, I can't tell if this is focusing or not, you know. So I'll just cut it right there, and then I could probably even cut it now if I wanted to. But yeah, so I'll use this piece. I'm thinking to myself, do I dare put Valgrass in there? Vallisneria. These are small specimens right here. I might just do it, but I might do it off like in a corner. Whereas if it started going nuts, I could just pull it out. And it's actually easy enough to pull out of the substrate. If I decide I don't like it, I think this is getting kind of wimpy. I better put it in the water now. And then I have another plant. So and these were some plants that were in there also. I forget what these are called. I know I've got it on a browser tab somewhere. They grew like tall and lanky. If you see, their stems are really long. So I'm just going to cut them off. I'm going to cut them off like right here and plant these little pieces down in there and let them grow. And they just grow straight up, but they have cool looking leaves. I have it over here in the 5-gallon tank. I might be able to show you that later. I also have some growing in my big community tank. Gen Pop. This is a plant I picked up too. I'm going to give it a try. It's kind of weird. And this is called Lobelia cardinalis. And it has some pretty cool like purple leaves. Oh, I better put this in the water too. It's starting to get wimpy. It's like purple. Are you seeing that? It's purple on the undersides of the leaves, and then it's like dark on top. And then all the new growth is like this green color. So I think that would be a kind of cool feature plant. I don't know how it's gonna do, so I'm gonna plant this off in a corner out of the way as well. I think that corner, I think maybe right here. I'll put it in the front. It says that it's a foreground potted plant. Whoops. So if it's a foreground plant, then it's supposed to stay pretty low. Foreground potted plant, small form cardinal. I'm sorry, I also have in this container, I believe it's some sort of Rotala. Put down in the comments if you know. It's quite green here. It's very pretty. I like the leaves. They're very kind of thick looking and healthy looking. They've literally been in this pot of water, this bowl of water for like, I don't know, a month, and they're still very healthy. I even put these down in the frog little tank thing that I got over there for him, and they're growing immersed out of the water as well. So I've been trying to keep these down in the water because I don't want them to melt back. Oh, I also had bought another plant that I was going to use, and it melted completely. So I lost, I don't know, $10 on that plant. So I'm kind of bummed about that. It's the same time I bought this, so that's why I have the tag for this still. So I've never grown this, so this will be a new one for me. And then I'll put some of this in there, and then if I need more, I'm thinking I'm gonna add some, like I have growing in my other tanks some super red rotalas. I think I'll put some of that in there. I need some like foreground plants, don't I? I need some like, maybe some sort of like dwarf grass. You know what I would, oh, I should get some, I have some crypts around here somewhere. Some crypticorn, but like small. I might, so I'm gonna go around to my different tanks and I'm gonna be yanking out plants that I like and everything, but I know I'm gonna be using these. So I need to get these in there and get that all going. And I might actually have to set it up with water tonight. So if I get to a point where I've got plants attached and all that, I'll keep them sprayed down. I'll use that little sprayer, keep them wet, because you don't want them to die. Because once you do put water in there, they'll melt. So I'll do that, get it set up over here, and fill it with water. And I don't care if the water is dirty or not, you know. So I'll just get water in there, just to keep the plants alive. If I have to, you know, drain it out, put fresh water in there, so be it. No big deal. It's 10 gallons. You know, I'm not worried about it. It'll be easy. It'll be fast. I'm gonna get cracking on that. Yeah. I'm gonna get cracking on that. Okay. I did forget to say, I have these like itty bitty African ferns. They're very small. They made some little tiny babies. They're not doing really well in some of my other tanks, but I'm going to try to take these babies and glue them, you know, to the wood and see if I can't get them to grow a little better in a new tank. And just try it. I mean, if they fail, they fail. But you know, they're itty bitty. Look at this. See? So tiny. So I'm going to try that too. I forgot to mention that. That's like a little side project. I might actually just stick that, I might do that last. I might just like, you know, stick that to a pebble and then drop the pebble down in there. Hey, so I want to show you guys this. So you can actually glue your plants to things as well. I mean, you don't want to lather the roots in it, but you just need like a couple touch points. Oh, I probably should have told my boy to be quiet. He's playing video games. But you can also, like this piece right here, I just wedged it in these two branches that are like really tight right here. So I just wedged it in there, and that's enough to hold it. It's not gonna break free. So you don't have to glue every piece, but this one here I did. I put it in this little crack right there. So this piece right here I glued in, but only a couple contact points. But you can use it for the plants too. Hey guys, okay, so we're back. I moved the aquarium to where it's gonna be, its final resting spot. This is what I got done so far. It's all Anubiases. So what I'm gonna do tonight is I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up so that all the leaves are underwater, and then continue in a part 3. So I'm gonna see how long this video is and call it, you know, this will be part 2, and then part 3 I'll start planning all the rest of the stuff, you know, in the foreground and the things that go into the soil, things that'll go in the background. So my background plants, the ones that grow tall. Of course, very easy to grow tall in this tank. It's so small. So it's really why I wanted so many Anubiases, because they're small plants. But yeah. So tell me what you think. I'm digging it. I think it looks pretty awesome. I mean, look at the way I made all these branches go kind of in the same direction. They're kind of like just flowing in this way. And that big Anubias over there, I think that's called Anubias Nana. I have actually just have it wedged underneath that rock. The weight of the rock is sitting on it. Oh, it doesn't hurt it. That piece right there is like wedged into the branches. Why don't I just show you with the stick? So this one right here, That's webbed between these two branches. This one I had the glue in, but I glued it right into that crack. I kind of mostly hid that volcanic rock that I showed you. It's right there. You can just see it right here, but if I plant some stuff right here, man, you won't even see it. Like maybe I'll just put some dwarf hair grass in there or a crypt or something that'll just it'll just cover that up. So I'm pretty happy about that. While I was working with it, I actually broke it. So I have another piece back here that I have wedged between the rock and the piece of wood there. And then all this is the same kind of Anubias, which I did post the name of, I hope, earlier. I need to find it, but maybe I'll just post it again. It's this. and then this one that I had on my little rock. And remember it had a bigger leaf on there? I broke the leaf off by accident. So it's just got the little tiny itty bitty baby, and I hope that grows. But yeah, I'll continue this in the next episode, and I'm gonna get this filled up. Hey, sorry, got a little distracted. It's also dinner time, and everybody's trying to get dinner going, and they ran the dishwasher. I was like, no noise. Anyway, in the next episode, tune in, subscribe. That way you're alerted. I think you're alerted of new episodes. So I think there will be a part 3. I'm gonna get this one out maybe tomorrow evening, and then I'll film again. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up with water, and then we'll continue it in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.